Hi, welcome to another edition of Winchester.org. I'm your host, Heather Poduska. Winchester.org is the show where we highlight the wonderful service organizations and nonprofit organizations of Winchester. Today we are fortunate to be joined by Paul Manganaro, the head coach and president of Sachem Youth Football and Cheerleading. That's a mouthful.
It is.
Thank you for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me, Heather.
So, president and head coach, are you out there on the fields coaching as well?
Yeah, that's the part I really enjoy the most, is the coaching part of it. So I'm active on a day-to-day basis in the practices and the games, and then run all the behind the stuff, paperwork that needs to be done, and organizational stuff.
That's great. And how long have you been in this role?
2012 will be our 7th season. So it's going by pretty quickly. First season was in 2006. And at that time, there hadn't been middle school football in town for close to 30 years. And myself and a group of people decided to give it a shot. And I remember the first sign-up, the first registration day, we kept our fingers crossed and we held our breath hoping that we could get at least 25 boys to participate and 17 cheerleaders. And to our pleasure, we got about 20 cheerleaders and 65 young men of middle school age to join us. And from then, it's just taken off. So
we were talking earlier, and you were telling me that at that time there was no school football team for middle school.
For middle school, correct. Middle school. Yeah. When I was growing up in town back in the late 70s, I was in middle school. There was many athletic programs provided to middle school students, but because of Proposition 2.5 and many budget cuts, they eliminated them probably around the mid to early 80s. And so there hadn't been a football team in middle school in Winchester in many years.
So what happens then? You know, you have the high school football team, but you don't have the kids coming up through grade school, middle school, playing and learning. So then what happened to the high school football team?
Well, the high school team, like any other program, has had its up and downs, and it's not necessary to have a middle school program to have a successful high school program, but it does help. It does help a little bit.
I would think, because like soccer, they start them so young, and they go through the program. So by the time they're in high school, they're
correct. But and I'm of the thought that youth programs are beneficial if it's done correctly, and we don't have any elite teams. We want to involve every kid, give every kid an opportunity, because we believe that everybody has different skill levels and different goals, and we can help each kid as we do. We treat them as individuals, even though we're working within a team concept to try and achieve their own personal goals as far as football players and cheerleaders. And we're hoping to develop a good attitude, a passion for the sport, and then they go on to high school and they either elect to do it or not.
So it's a complete program in and unto itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And you said you started out with, was it 60?
65 boys on the team and roughly about 20 cheerleaders.
And how many is it now?
Now we're up to, we had our registration for the 2012 season in March, and we're going to have over 50 cheerleaders and probably close to 80 boys in the program.
Wow. And how many teams then do you have?
Well, because of our size, we're broken up into 3 different levels. We provide a 6th grade clinic, which is an introduction to football, full contact football. They meet once a week for 8 weeks. It's a nice soft introduction into the sport of contact football. And then we combine our 7th and 8th grade team. But because of the numbers, we split it off. We have a red team and a black team. So each team will have 1 game a week for about 8 weeks.
And are those teams evenly matched in skill, or is that like an A team and a B team?
We tend to have the black team be a little more for the kids that maybe first-time players, a little less experienced, need a little more nurturing and a little more skills. And we match them up accordingly with other programs that we play. And the red team's more the advanced kids, maybe with a little more experience under their belt. And because we have kids of all different sizes and shapes and ability, it works out well for us.
So this is something I heard. I have all girls, so
all right.
I'm not the football expert, but does it go by height and weight as opposed to age?
Well, in the middle school program, it's just all grade-based.
Grade-based, okay.
Grade-based. Now, we also do have a Pop Warner program in town that I'm on the advisory board of. This will be the 3rd year Winchester Pop Warner, which is headed by 2 gentlemen in town, Michael Buongiorno and Brandon Bergstrom. And they've done a wonderful job establishing a first-class program. Now, Pop Warner in our town is geared more towards the elementary school age kids, and that is based on birth date and weight.
Okay. And if you're a big kid and you're in 5th grade, do you still play with grade schoolers, or do you get bumped up to play with middle schoolers?
That's the little lag time, right? That's the little lag spot right now, that if you're a big 5th grader and have outgrown the Pop Warner program, you have to wait a year to come into the middle school.
Okay.
Yeah. We think just mentally and physically, even though some of these kids are big, doesn't necessarily mean physically and mentally they're ready to compete with kids sometimes 2 or 3 years their elders.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So, is there a tryout?
No, that's the beauty of our sport. Like I said, we don't have any elite team. All we ask for people to come is give us a good attitude and their best effort, and we can coach you up. So we don't make any cuts. We don't have any tryouts. All we require is a good attitude and attendance.
And then, have you coached other programs, and what's the model of the program?
Yeah, well, I've been involved in youth coaching for many years, different sports, a little bit with soccer, a lot with youth baseball. But then my real passion is football. I was an assistant coach at the high school program for about 17 years before I started this project here. And my educational background, I have a degree from the University of Massachusetts in education. So I found that to be very helpful.
Yeah. And for soccer, the kids, it's always bewildering to me that some of the kids go to Framingham for their soccer games when there are kids that live in Belmont or Arlington.
Right.
So how does that work for Pop Warner, and why does that happen like that?
Well, I think it's just the availability. But as far as middle school football, what we saw back in 2006, we had to scramble just to get 8 games. Wow. And most of those games, I'd say 80% of those games were against private schools. Those were the only schools that were providing middle school age football at that time.
Wow.
But since then, in the short period of time, we've blossomed, and we've now helped establish a league called the Eastern Massachusetts Middle School Football League that has 16 teams in it, and we broke it up into a North Division and South Division for travel and convenience, and it's really worked out well. This will be our 3rd season being in that league, and we're in the North Division.
So how does Winchester fare?
We feel very well.
If you do say so.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't judge everything on wins and losses, because I think those take care of themselves. What we try and establish is an environment where kids can use the vehicle of football as part of the educational process and grow and develop as young people. And so we've established a program that's been looked upon by others highly enough where we've helped establish a program in Melrose, Saugus, Canton, and Bedford, and we're also talking to some other towns right now.
That's great. And you've mentioned this a couple of times now, that you look at the whole kid, and it's about the development of the whole kid. And you were mentioning earlier that you have programs beyond football that are associated with.
If you read our mission statement is, we want to give young people of middle school age residents in Winchester the opportunity to develop self-esteem, pride in their school and in their community while working within the team concept. We're very proud of this couple of programs that we set up. We have a buddy system in our program where the coaches match up. We don't let the kids pick, but we pick 2 individuals and we buddy them up. So say, I'll just pick out 2 names, but Tom and John are buddies. They're going to be responsible to fill in a questionnaire about each other, learn about likes and dislikes, and also they're going to be responsible for one another. So if they have a problem in school or on the field, they can lean on one another. Also, if John isn't in school that day or at practice that day, we're going to ask his buddy at practice where he is, and he's going to be kind of responsible. So kids won't only be responsible for themselves, but they'll be responsible for somebody else too. And also, if they had a question about football and they're not comfortable asking a parent or a coach, maybe they can go to their buddy with that. And we found that to be very helpful, because the studying that I've done, there's 2 main reasons kids quit youth sports. Number 1 is they're not having fun, and then number 2, they don't feel part of the program. So this way, every kid should feel at least a part of the program with a buddy. And we've even expanded that last year, where we've brought our buddy system to high school students. So it's more like a mentoring program where we've matched up a middle school kid with a high school kid, and that's worked out very well. We still have some things to iron out with that, but that has great potential. So we have our buddy system. We have our Sachem Youth Football and Cheerleading Study Hall.
And what's that?
Well, we're very fortunate to have a great teacher down at the middle school. Her name is Grace Tringali. She's a Spanish teacher, 8th grade Spanish teacher, and she volunteers her time every day on practice days after school. See, we don't start until 4 o'clock, so there's like an hour and a half lag time between school and practice. And a lot of our players have parents that work. So instead of hanging out downtown, they can go into the study hall, and all that's required there is they have to sign a code of conduct sheet where they'll come prepared, give their best effort, and participate fully in the program. And we've had many kids take advantage of that, so they're getting their homework done before practice, and they go home. They might still have a little homework to do, or they can rest and relax. So we have the buddy system, the study hall system. We're also very, very important to us since day one is we're involved in at least 1 or 2 community service projects each year. Ever since we've been established, we've been manning water stations for the Michael J. Dunleavy Walk in town, which is very rewarding. And we also take a day out from practice during the season to do light cleaning and landscaping work around the school. We'll mulch, we'll clean up beds around the school, we'll pick up trash around the whole school. And I find kids are very rewarded by that experience. And this year, we could be doing our most exciting thing that we've put together so far. Working with the school faculty right now, but we're calling it the Sachem Youth Football Academic Achievement Program. Just like what we require the kids to do on the field, it's not going to be grade based. We don't care if you get A's or B's, but we do care if you're working to the best of your ability. So this is going to be based on effort and behavior. And basically it's going to we involve a lot of responsibility on the kids' part. At the beginning of the week, they'll get a grading sheet from the coach, which they have to take into their teacher. And the teacher will just grade them on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the poorest, 5 being the best, on their behavior and effort. So even if they go to D, but they have good behavior and effort, they can score. And then we'll have a scale at the end of the week. If they meet a certain point total, we'll give them a reward helmet decal sticker.
Oh, that's cool.
To put on the back of the helmet. We'll also, part of that program will be a good news component, where we'll have a mailbox at practice. Any good news, test related, homework related, community service related, being a good citizen. Kid can nominate himself, put in the work in the mailbox. I'll take it home at night. I'll go through the ones that are worthy. The next day we'll highlight the good news. They'll get a achievement point for that. Then at the end of the year, we're going to have our academic All-American team, which we'll take the 5 to 10 highest scorers in the program for the year, and they'll be highlighted at our year-end banquet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so great that there's this place outside of school. Sometimes it can be hard to be in school.
Sure.
If you're not the best athlete or the best academic person, to have another place where you have supportive adults, supportive buddies, just
Right.
another place to learn to be a good citizen and to feel welcome.
Right, and we find ourselves in a very unique responsible position, and we take it very seriously because, like I said, kids have to be in English, they have to go to math, but they don't have to play football, so they're there because they want to be there. So we feel like we have to take advantage of that opportunity where we have their full undivided attention, and they want to be there, and we want to be there coaching them. Like I said, we have all different sizes, shapes, from different social backgrounds and different talent levels, and it's really been unique seeing them all come together working for one common goal.
Well, I think it takes also really special people to be coaches. I mean, you obviously have a love for kids. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, well, it keeps you young, and we've been very fortunate. I can't say enough about our staff. We've had great consistency in our staff, all 100% volunteers. We have a total of 8 volunteer coaches, all that live in town except for one. But everyone except for the fellow that lives out of town are former high school football players in Winchester. They're either local policemen, firemen, or business people.
Wow.
So it's been great. And our one special coach is Tom Cato. He's a legendary Massachusetts high school football coach and family friend, and he's been with us for several years now too.
That's great.
So we're happy to have his expertise, and just the passion that every one of our volunteers has is very important, because I feel this way: if we're going to ask the kids to do something, to make a commitment, we have to do it even better.
Yeah, that's great. Now, what about the cheerleaders?
Oh, the cheerleading program is crazy. It's the best around, because not every team program that we compete against has a cheerleading program. And like, I introduce myself every year to the cheerleaders, and I tell them, listen, it's easy to play football. You're out there in huddle with 11 other individuals. You have a helmet on. Yeah, people know your number, but cheerleading, you're exposed right there on the sideline, and you're cheering in front of people, and that's not easy to do. And we have three great people that have run that program from the beginning. Well, two have run it from the beginning for us. One just newly joined us, but Ann Duran and Melinda Stone are two parents that have taken it from the very beginning, just because of their expertise and their passion and their love for the girls, have made it an unbelievable program. And then we just added Denise Costello to the program. And when we started the program in 2006, the high school program, cheerleading program, was on the verge of being demolished because they had tryouts where only 9 girls showed up. Now, at the high school level, it's bulging at the seams where they make cuts. They're very competitive within the Middlesex League competition, so we're proud of that.
And do they get the same access to the programs of the
yeah.
Do they have buddies? Do they have the achievement?
Yes, every program, it's all equal opportunity. They have the same status as the football team. We expect the same performance and behavior out of them, and they're welcome to join any of our programs. And
they cheer for the football teams. Do they do any? I thought I heard you say something about competition. Do they do any cheer competitions?
The high school does. When they move on to high school, we're not so keen on the competitions and stuff. Matter of fact, the first couple of years we had the program, we didn't even involve stunting, but the girls really begged for it. So we brought in some professionals. They had to be required to go to camp, and we only let the girls that have a high attendance rate do the stunting. And just last year we started bringing them over to a professional cheerleading organization called JAG in Woburn. So they go over there once a week and have some professional training as a group, which is really nice.
That must be fun for them.
Yeah.
So the thing about stunts makes me think about safety, and with all of the things in the news about professional football players and brain injuries, I'm just wondering about how to keep the kids safe. And
yeah. Well, that's our number one thing. We want kid safety. We treat every kid like they're our own, and this safety and well-being is number one. And we actually were a leader last year. Winchester Pop Warner and State Youth Football combined forces and absorbed the expense of bringing in Chris Nowinski, who's from the BU brain and concussion program, the most renowned program in the nation. They're the ones that are having the brains of former players donated to them for research and stuff. And it was mandatory for all our coaches to be there, and it was very educational for us. So I think it's like anything else, being informed, being educated on it. We're not necessarily afraid of it, because when you learn the details of it, when you hear it on the news, it's very scary, but when you know the details and what's involved, you're much more comfortable with it. And what we found, and what the changes we made, obviously after the educational experiences, at the state youth football level, we have a concussion awareness pamphlet that goes out to every kid and parent.
Oh, that's good.
That they have to fill out. It shows you the symptoms, because a lot of parents aren't aware of the symptoms, you know? So they have to read it, and both sign off. A player and parent have to sign off on it. And then the most important part is we ask them for any information on any previous concussions that they had. Because see, one concussion isn't bad. It's the multiple concussions in a short period of time without the full recovery time that really causes the big problems. You know, and the pro athletes that are playing that have a $5 million contract, I know they're the ones that are running into trouble because they're forced back on the field sometimes. But right now, our policy is, you have a concussion, you're not allowed back on the field until you have a doctor's clearance. And we found out it's very beneficial to us, because we had kids come in for the first day camp and they're not allowed on the field until they fill that out. And we found out they had a concussion at the beach over the summer.
Wow.
You know, and now we'll pay special attention to that kid, but also he won't be allowed on the football field until he has clearance from a doctor.
That is awesome that you guys did that.
Yeah, and we work very closely. All the information we get, we give to the school nurse, Mary at the middle school. That way she has a list of our players. If Tommy comes in and says, "Oh, I have a headache today," she'll know if he had a little concussion problem on or off the field beforehand. So we're all working together.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So this TV show is a piece of cake for you, because you do a weekly show, right?
Yeah.
Winchester Football Weekly.
Yeah, we had a great time with it last week. I had the idea, and I'm very fortunate to have two good friends, they're brothers, Jay and Pat Gill, who are the host and the co-host. They're like the Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. And last year was our first year. Matter of fact, we won the WinCam Award for Best New Show.
Oh, great.
And It is live Monday nights, and we have a couple components to it. Basically, we review the score and highlights from each game at all different levels of football in town, Pop Warner, middle school and high school. Then we have a featured guest. We brought in the high school coach, we brought in the trainer, the athletic director, and then we have a Where Are They Now segment where we bring back former players from the high school level. So we have a lot of interesting people around town, business people, and other professionals, and even outside of town that will come back and talk about their experience. And the funnest part of our program is the Student Athlete of the Week segment, where we have a individual from each level, Pop Warner, middle school and high school, that are nominated by their coaches and selected to be highlighted on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's great seeing the three kids sitting there together, you know?
I'm sure they're just
Yeah, so from little, medium to large.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's great. So if you want to get involved in Pop Warner, when are the sign-ups?
Well, we have open enrollment, but our major sign up was usually in the spring. But we'll take people right up until the first day of practice.
And when is that?
Pop Warner starts in early August, and the middle school starts at the end of August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And both programs have really good websites. I think if you go to winchesterpopwarner.com or sachemyouth.org, there's enrollment forms and a lot of information on both those programs.
And you said before that it's privately funded, so how can people get involved in that? Or do you have fundraisers?
Yeah, you know, we charge a small registration fee, but that doesn't even cover the cost of the uniform. And at the middle school, I'm just speaking the middle school level now, we also provide transportation to and from all the games. So we do have a fundraiser each year, and we've been very successful, and it's been a lot of fun selling cookie dough, which kind of brings us to even every year. Yeah. And you know, and we're very fortunate. When we started the program, we sought and received 7 lifetime sponsors, where for one-time initial startup fee to get us off the ground, because at the time we didn't have a helmet, we didn't own a bag, we didn't own a jersey, and that was probably about a $35,000 cost to get it off the ground. We're very fortunate with the generosity of some individuals and businesses in town that we were able to get this started, and now we just kind of maintain it.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to re-emphasize that if there wasn't the Sachem Youth Football and Cheerleading at Pop Warner, that there is no school program.
Not that level.
Not that level.
And Winchester, all we have is at the high school level.
So this is it.
This is it, yeah.
So support your local sports teams.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Is there anything else that we need to know about Pop Warner and the Sachem Youth and football before we finish up?
No, I would just say, listen, if you ever thought about playing the sport, it would be a good chance to do it at those levels before you get to the high school level. Because what I found when I was coaching high school football, a lot of kids enter the 9th grade, they didn't have the opportunity to play. Didn't play it because they either were unfamiliar with it, or they just thought, I've been doing something else for so long, I'll stick with that. So like I would say 75% of our kids go from middle school and at least try the high school sport right now. So it's a nice environment to try it in. And like I said, you're only young once, so give it a try.
That's right. That's right. And we're really, really lucky to have you and all the other coaches and people that support the programming. It sounds just great.
Well, we couldn't do it if we didn't have the product, which is great kids, and those great kids come from great parents. So we're very fortunate, and we look forward to continuing the program and looking to make it better each and every year.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for another edition of Winchester.org. I'm your host, Heather Poduska, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
That's good. That was nice.